In the video today, in this lesson today, we're going to talk about passive voice and more specifically how to transform an active sentence to a passive sentence in a very clear and concise way. I hope you learn how to transform active to passive in an easy way. So the first thing I would like to say and to refresh your minds is that any passive voice, remember, implies the verb to be in any of the tenses of in any tense of the verb to be. For example, forms like are, is, was, or were. And then, as we are going to see in the following example, we have to add to that verb to be, that form of the verb to be in any tense, the past participle. Yes, past participle. Remember, if the verb is regular, the only thing that we have to do is to add ed to the verb. Yes, play, played, for example. But if the verb is irregular, remember that we need to think and remember the third column of the list of irregular verbs. Why do we use this passive voice? We use it in a sentence like this. This is the active. Check this. He wrote the letter in 1973. But maybe the important thing for us is not that he wrote the letter. Maybe the important thing is that the letter was written in 1973. That is the important thing, not who did it. Yes, that the letter was written. This is an example of passive structure. The passive voice is a passive structure. As you see, we have the verb to be, in this case it was, followed by the past participle of the verb to write, written. Okay? Now, in the following examples, step by step, we're going to explain how to transform active to passive. So let's start with an easy example. Something like the cat chases the bird. The first thing that we have to identify is the first rule is to identify subject, verb, and object. So let's start. Let's see what is the subject of this sentence, the verb, and the object. The cat, so this would be the subject. Chases is the verb. What does the cat chase? The bird. The second thing that we need to do is to identify what the tense of the verb is. But the moment we transform this into a passive structure, the object becomes the subject, and the subject becomes the object, the cat. But in passive structures, we don't call it a object, we call it agent. And the agent needs a preposition, which is the preposition by. Now, we have the verb, and let's see that this is sometimes the most complicated thing. So in the passive, we always have to add two. I mean, if we have one, there are going to be two words in the verb. One of the active plus another one in the passive. That is, if we have one verb in the active, we're going to have two words in the passive. Good. Let's analyze what words these are. The second word in the verb, let's say, is always going to be a past participle. So, chased. And now, the tense of the active was present simple. What is the present simple, the verb to be? In this case, with the verbs. And so we think present simple, the verb to be, I am, you are, he is, she is, it is. In this case, the verb would be it. So it is. So we write is here. And this would be the passive structure. So the verb is chased by the cat. A summary of the rules. First, we identify subject, verb, object. 2, how many words there are in the verb, and 3, the tense. Okay, good. So as we saw in the active, we have one verb. In the passive, we have 2 words for the verb. One is the verb to be plus the past participle, always. Okay, now boys, we're going to see another example. In this case, the example has a different tense. But the rules are always the same. So the first thing that we have to do is to identify subject, verb, and object and do the rule of changing the object for the subject, etc. So let's see. For example, in this case, we have the Romans is the subject, the Romans built, which is the verb, and the Colosseum, which is the object. But check that in this example, we have another element in this sentence, but we are not interested. The object is transformed into the subject in the passive. So the Colosseum, and then the subject becomes the agent, and we need the preposition by the Romans. The second rule says, identify the verb. What's the tense? Past simple. How many words do we have in the active? One word. So in the passive, we're going to have two words, and we're going to write the second word in the verb is always past participle. What's the past participle? The verb to build. Built. In this case, these two words coincide. Now, the tense, past simple. So what is the past simple? The verb to be. I was, you were, he was, she was, it was built by the Romans. And now, when we finish this transformation, is the moment when we write for entertainment here. Yes, Excel is in place. We don't have to do anything with this, let's say, complement at the end of the sentence. Let's see another example. So in this occasion, it said, the government has set new rules. So we start, again, we identify subject, verb, object. That is the first thing that we have to do. New rules. Rules becomes the subject of the passive voice. Government, the only thing that we have to do is to add preposition by and write the government here. Remember that the agent is this part of the sentence in a passive structure that tells you who did the action. Has said is present perfect. Present perfect. Good. How many words do we have in the active? We have two words for the verb. Has, set. So we add 2 plus 1. Always one word more in the passive. 1, 2, 3. But we know that the third word is always a past participle. Yes? What is the past participle? The verb set. Set is irregular. Set, set, set. And now, good. What is the present perfect of the verb to be? I have been, you have been, he has been. But in this case, new rules, the subject is plural. So we could substitute new rules by this pronoun they. They have been. Exactly. So when it is a present perfect, the being is going to be the past participle, the verb to be. So check. New rules have been set. And this is the structure of the passive for this example. Yes? The government has set new rules. New rules have been set by the government. Let's see another example. In this new example, number 4, we have a different tense. So we're going to learn how to transform active into passive in many tenses. Yes. So they are committing crimes in this town. So again, identify subject, verb, object. They is the subject, are committing is the verb, and crime is the object. And again, we find something at the end in this town, yes, which is another element, but we are not interested. So at the end, when we finish the transformation, we will write it at the end of the sentence. Good. So we start with the transformation. So we write crimes as the subject of the passive structure. And then check that they is just a pronoun. It's not a name, it's not Peter, it's not Mary, it's not the citizens. So this time we need to learn that when the subject is not important, that is when it is a pronoun like they, when it is something like people, like someone, yes, we don't write the agent. So in this case, the agent is going to be empty. We're not going to write it. We don't need to write the agent when the subject is they. So directly we are going to skip that step. So we go to crimes as the subject. And now, what tense is are committing? The tense is present continuous. Oh, many students commit the same mistake. In the previous example, we saw a perfect tense. Yes, a perfect tense. And we saw been as the past participle, have been said. But in this case, it's not perfect, it's continuous. So if in the active we have an ing, in the passive we're going to have an ing. Yes? So present continuous. How many words do we find in the active? We find 2 words. Are committing. So in this case, we're going to add, so it's 2 words plus 1. So let's write 3 lines. Look, 1, 2, and 3 lines. Okay. Well, we know that the last word is always the same. It's always a past participle. In this case, the past participle, the verb to commit, is committed because it's regular. Okay. And now, are committing is present continuous. What is the present continuous of the verb to be? So in this case, crime is plural. So we're going to need are. Yes, are. Crimes are ing. Being ing. So crimes are being committed, and we copy this here in this town are being committed. So check here, and very easy if you associate ideas, that if in the active you have ing, in the passive you're going to find the ing again. No matter what, you're going to find the ing. We add another word, so 1, 2, 3 words, yes. And crimes are being committed. In this cases are because crimes is plural. They are being committed. Imagine is they are committing a crime. A crime is being committed. Okay, good. Last example. Okay, in this example number 5, we're going to see something that is going to be very easy and is going to be useful for any type of passive or active, from active to passive at this time, is when you find an auxiliary verb or a modal verb. So check, we continue with the rule, yes, subject, verb, object always. So the subject is the quickest runner, the race is the object, and check that in the verb we find will, in this case, will plus an infinitive. We know that will is an auxiliary verb that help us to construct or to say something in the future. Yeah, so the quickest runner will win the race. So in this case, guys, we continue. We follow the rules. Yeah, so the race, okay, is the subject of this passive structure, and in this case we need by the quickest runner, okay, and we use it. We're going to say who, yes, because it's important, and the agent has to be present in this passive structure. So the race and by the quickest runner. So we have the 2 parts of this passive structure, except the verb. So let's analyze the verb. So will win, as I said before, will is an auxiliary. But how many words do we find this active? We find 2 words. So we need to add 2 plus 1. So it's 1, 2, and 3. And remember that the last words always is the past participle. What is the past participle of the verb to win? Won is irregular. Win, won. Remember, it's the 3rd column of the regular verbs. Okay? So we will write here won. Good. And with any verb of this type, so any auxiliary or modal verbs like can, should, must, any verb, okay, of this, for example, ought to, or for example, may, might, yes, could, any type of these, or any verb of these auxiliary verbs or modal verbs, the first thing that we write is the verb. Is the verb will in this case, yes? So we write will here, And then remember that these verbs, should, could, will, can, may, might, are always followed by an infinitive. What is infinitive? The verb to be, be. So we write be here, and we have the sentence, the race will be won by the quickest runner. So any type or any sentence in which you find auxiliaries like can, or modal verbs like can, or will, or should, or must, can, could, yes? We write be and then the past participle. So I hope this video is useful to transform any active to a passive structure. Get down to work!